Welcome back, guys! With the Super Mario Bros. 1 remake now finished, I've decided that it's now time to play through some fan-made levels. I'd like to apologize in advance if I butcher anyone's names whenever I give credit for the stages that I play through. Starting us off, we have the Great Mario Maze. This stage was created by Adawell123 on YouTube, or Froz according to his nickname on his console. If there's one thing that I can say about this stage, it's that most of the time there's very little room to move around. Usually this isn't such a bad thing since it allows for a bigger and more complex maze, but sometimes it can be tricky to get Mario to enter the narrow passages. I found that spin jumping makes it a little easier to enter the narrow passages, or at least it seems like that's the case. Probably my favorite part of this stage is the area with the pipe that releases super mushrooms. I think that it's kind of cool that you have to collect one and then immediately lose it and run like the wind in order to cross a long line of spikes. I always like dancing to music in video games if I'm forced to stand around for a minute. The flagpole is hidden in the very lower right part of the level. It's not too much further from where we're at now. Overall, this was a pretty fun stage. I'm sure that a lot of work was put into it, as would be the case with creating just about any maze, and I really enjoyed playing through it. Time for another level. The next stage that I'm going to play through is called Castle for the Intermediate Fun Time, and it was also created by Adawell123, aka Froz. The beginning of this stage is pretty open, and so you can avoid most of the enemies without too much trouble. There's a fire flower inside of a tiny space in the wall, as you guys saw back there. It can be kind of tricky to get, but it is possible. You got some hammer brothers throughout this area. I'd recommend shooting some fireballs and run with them in order to take out any that get in your way. Do not ground pound the question block because it has a vine in it that you need. Instead, wait for a Koopa paratrooper to come out of the pipe and use its shell to make the vine grow upward. Just follow the path throughout this area. Take out the piranha plants here before they had the chance to hit you with one of their fireballs, and then wall jump up the wall. You can safely jump on thwomps using the spin jump, so use that to your advantage throughout this area. Whoa, I totally forgot about that thwomp. Oh well. Just make your way through all these doors and then hit the P-switch and make your way across the brick bridge. There's a question block up here that contains a 1-up if you want it. We're not too much further from the end of the stage. Overall, this was yet another fun stage. It was kind of easy, but still fun to go through nonetheless. I always really like going through castle stages in Mario games. I like the atmosphere and music a lot in them. Alright, time for another stage.
Mario #1! Woohoo!
The next stage that I'm going to play through is called Mushroom Impossible, and it was, once again, created by Adawell123, aka Froz. I really like how the beginning of the stage looks with all of the grinders everywhere. About 2/3 of the stage has you riding the Koopa Clown car, which I think is a lot of fun. Be very careful not to hit the springs at the bottom of this area, and also be careful as you eject from the clown car. We are on the final stretch of the stage now. I always find it easier to do small hops if I do a spin jump, so you'll probably see me do that here and there. Overall, this was a really great obstacle course type stage, and I enjoyed playing through it. The next level is called Captain Falcon Keeps on Running, and it's the final stage that I'm going to play through that was created by Adawell123, aka Froz. This is definitely my favorite of his 4 stages. The only thing that you have to do is keep running to the right, but the entire stage is just beautiful. Allow me to be quiet so you can soak it all in. Simply magnificent. Well done, sir. Well done indeed. Our next level is called Kaizo Mario #1, and it was created by Steegs on GameFAQs, or Ethan according to his nickname on his console. This is another stage that takes place in a castle setting, and it'll probably take you a bit of trial and error to figure out how to make it through this level, but once you do know what to do, then the stage ends up being pretty short. This is still a really fun stage though, and I really enjoy avoiding all of the spikes and traps using the wall jump and the mid-air spin jump. Time for another level.
Mario's #1! Woohoo!
Alright, the next stage is called Tunneling into the Ghost House, and it was created by the same guy that made the previous stage. If you're quick in this stage, then you can get a fire flower, but I'll talk more about that in a minute. Once you're out of the tunnel and into the ghost house, you'll have to get a P-switch in order to pass by the blocks that are on the right. If you want the fire flower that I mentioned earlier, then you'll have to make a run for it and try not to stop for anything because you'll barely have enough time to reach it. I really like that you can create the stretch boos in other Mario styles now. I don't know why, but they were always one of my favorite types of boos in Super Mario Bros. 3. Speaking of boos, one of my favorite haunted areas in Super Mario World is actually the sunken ghost ship. Not just because of the fact that you can take Yoshi with you through that level, but also because I like the level's backstory about how it was supposedly one of the airships from Super Mario Bros. 3 that got destroyed. I always thought that was pretty cool. Throughout this area, you can hop from one dry bones to another while going up and over everything that's between them. Quickly move left a little bit after entering the door and crush the dry bones before it has a chance to attack you. We're pretty much on the final stretch of the stage now. I'd recommend taking a hit and run through the circle of boos if you're Super Mario or Fire Mario. Enter the pipe, get on Yoshi, and go to the right to end the level. Alright, time for the next stage. The next level is called Nature, and it was created by the same person who made the last two stages. It's also the first fan-made stage in this run that utilizes the Super Mario Bros. 3 graphics, which is pretty awesome. As to be expected from the title of the stage, you're going to be dealing with a lot of plants throughout this level. You'll be climbing a lot of vines, and you'll have to avoid quite a few piranha plants as well. There's a super leaf in one of the question blocks coming right up. It has a couple of spike tops guarding it, but it doesn't matter if you get hit by one of them, so long as you're quick about collecting the super leaf. We're not too much further from the end of the level. I like the plant theme for this stage, and I thought that it was pretty fun to go through. Time for the next stage. The next level that I'm going to play through is called Get the Propeller. This level takes place in an underground setting, and the main objective, as you may have guessed from the title of the stage, is to get the propeller mushroom in order to reach the flagpole to end the stage. The propeller mushroom is located inside of the question block that's over there to the left. It can be kinda tricky to get over there, but a well-timed wall jump from out of the pit should do just fine. Once you've become Propeller Mario, I'd recommend going all the way to the far right wall before you start working your way upwards, because there's a pipe with a piranha plant over to the left. Time for the next level.
Mario time!
The next level that I'm going to play through is called Noah's Ark, and it's the final stage that I'm going to play through that was created by Steegs, aka Ethan. This stage doesn't have any obstacles, nor does it have anything that can hurt you. The idea for this stage was pretty cool though. I like the idea of basing a stage off of Noah's Ark and including two of each enemy on the airship. The only thing for you to do in this stage is run to the right, and then back to the left, and then back to the far right. Overall, this was still a pretty neat stage, even though there isn't anything to attack you. I like the idea for it, it was pretty unique. Alright, time for the next level. The next stage is called Operation Take Back Halberd, and it was created by EnderGamer537 on GameFAQs, or Ender according to his nickname on his console. This level has you playing as Meta Knight, and it's based off of Meta Knight's revenge from Kirby's Superstar. The main objective is to take back the Halberd from Bowser Jr. On the way there, you'll have a lot of stage obstacles in your way, like boos, thwomps, and flamethrowers. Obviously, being based off of Meta Knight's Revenge, there are quite a few amiibo mushrooms throughout this stage, so if you wanted you could take hits and run through some of the traps while you're invincible. I'd rather try and stay Meta Knight though, because it adds to the feel of the level. I like the way how Meta Knight runs in this game as well. Pretty cool. I also like the sound and visual effects that happen whenever you collect an amiibo mushroom in this stage. I think it's pretty cool whenever people remake or base their levels off of stages from another video game franchise outside the Mario series. We'll probably see some more stages like that, I'm sure. And just like that, we are now at Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. will fight you from inside of a Koopa Clown car. He'll keep tossing out 2 Koopa shells. One will go left and one will go right. You can actually stay next to the door that you entered the room through and fight him from up high if you want. Once you defeated Bowser Jr., hop into his clown car, fly to the upper right and go through the pipe to be at the flagpole. There's one last amiibo mushroom in a question block that's located at the other end of the pipe, and just in case you want to end the level as Meta Knight, time for another stage. Alright, the next level that I'm going to play through is called Overgrown Haunted Mansion, and it's the final stage that I'm going to play through that was created by Ender. This stage is based off of Ashley's plant-infested house. This level mostly consists of climbing vines while avoiding piranha plants, munchers, an occasional wiggler, and various undead creatures like dry bones, as well as the different boos. It's interesting to see what certain enemies that originated in newer Mario games look like in the original Super Mario Bros. Graphical style. I really like the skull lifts in this stage. It's very fitting for a haunted mansion, and I also like how it looks like pieces of the mansion fall apart as you go through the level. Those are some pretty nice details. Combining the munchers and other plants with the dry bones was a good idea for this stage, since it stayed with the stage theme and also created some mobile plants at the same time. Just like with the Meta Knight amiibo mushrooms in the Halberd stage, this stage supplies you with quite a few Ashley amiibo mushrooms. Once again, I like the sound and visual effects that occur whenever you collect an amiibo mushroom in this stage. We're pretty much at the final area of the level now. We have to climb back up and then back down, and then we'll be at the end of the stage. Even though I wish there were more stage themes for you to design with, I do think that it's pretty cool that you can create certain stage types and graphical styles that they weren't originally present in, like making a ghost house in Super Mario Bros. 1 graphics. We only have one more circle of boos to deal with besides the ones that are right here, and then we'll be free to reach the flagpole. Just wait for an opening in the boos and then we'll slip by them. And there we go. Alright, there's another Ashley amiibo mushroom at the bottom of the vine. Get it if you want it and then head to the right. This ride here is my favorite part of the entire stage. You get to go on what is basically a roller coaster ride that'll take you straight to the flagpole. It's a really great ending to this stage in my opinion. I also like the moon that was created using the cloud platforms. Time for another level. The next level is called Wrath of Winged Bowser, and it was created by SpunXTane on GameFAQs, or Dustin according to his nickname on his console. This is another castle stage that was created using the new Super Mario Bros. Graphical style. Just like with a lot of other castle stages, this level has a lot of trap-based enemies, like thwomps, potaboos, and firebars. There are a couple of cannons and flamethrowers here and there as well. One of the question blocks in this stage has a fire flower in it. I would recommend getting it because it can be useful for defeating the Winged Bowser at the end of the stage. You'll fight the Winged Bowser shortly after getting the fire flower, so be careful not to get hit. The Winged Bowser's just past this fire bar in the thwomp. As you can see, there's an arrow of coins telling you to go up, but I'd rather fight the giant Winged Bowser with Fire Mario. If you stay up high on the donut lifts, then it should be pretty easy to avoid the fireballs that he breathes at you. Just keep your distance and stay kind of high and he should go down without too much trouble. He'll take quite a few fireballs to destroy, but he still shouldn't be too hard to defeat since his fireballs move so slowly. He should be just about down and out. I really like the boss battle in this castle. I also like the cannons that were added in for the fight as well. There's a giant thwomp that'll try to get you after you defeat the Winged Bowser, so be sure to avoid it. Time for the next level. Alright, The next stage is called Help Peach Escape, and it was created by G. Magan on GameFAQs, or Glenn according to his nickname on his console. This is another maze level, and if you know the correct path through it, then the level can be over really quickly, so I'm going to explore around a little and show some of what's around the stage. Over here to the left is 2 chain chomps. There's a question block with some coins in this one. Going further up over here will lead to a pipe with a fire-breathing piranha plant next to it. The correct path to take is at the very bottom. Be careful of the flamethrowers as you pass through this area. Just wait for the flames to die down and then head to the right. If you take the first path on the left as you climb up this area, it'll lead to a pipe that'll release potaboos if you break the bricks that are blocking the pipe. One of my favorite touches in this stage are the pipes that lead to Bowser and Bowser Jr. That was a really awesome idea in my opinion. If you take the path on the right over here, it'll lead to some coins in a Goomba. We'll go ahead and head back down now. If you take the first pipe on the right down here at the bottom, it'll lead to a trap room with Bowser. I like the way how the background looks in this room. If you go to the right a little past that pipe, you'll find 2 doors. Take the door on the left to be at the flagpole. Onward to the next stage. The next level is called Slipspring Caverns, and it was created by Tall White Ninja on GameFAQs, or TWN according to his nickname on his console. As to be expected from the title of the stage, this is an underground level that has ice everywhere. If you're familiar with how much you slide around in Super Mario World, then this level shouldn't be too tough for you to complete. There are a lot of springs throughout the stage. A lot of them you can use to your advantage, but some of them will get in the way, so be careful not to be bounced into a pit. The area coming up is my favorite part of this stage. I really enjoy bouncing back and forth as I jump over the gap between each side on my way to the top. Throughout this next area, you'll have to jump from platform to platform, and most of them will have spike tops on them, so be careful as you progress through the area. I'd recommend staying on the far left side of the small ice blocks so that you can build up a little more speed and make your jumps a little easier. We're on the final stretch of the stage now. I'd recommend letting the springs control most of your movement as you make your way to the right. You'll know whenever you're close to the goalpost whenever you start jumping over spikes. Alright, time for another level. The next stage is called A Dog's Tale, and it was created by Maxox on GameFAQs, or Maxox Power according to his nickname on his console. As you may have guessed from the name of the stage, this stage has you playing as Duck Hunt. Like the houses that were created using the different bricks and whatnot, it kind of reminds me of building stuff with Legos. The first thing that you have to do in this stage is enter the first house that you see via the chimney on top, aka the pipe. You have to get a shoe in here. Once you've gotten the shoe, leave the house and head to the right. You're going to need the shoe in order to bounce off of some piranha plants in order to get high enough to enter the maze that leads you into the next house. The shoe also helps out because you'll be able to defeat the wigglers that get in your way, and you can also walk on munchers as well. I really like that there's more than one kind of shoe for you to ride around in. I know it doesn't do anything different from the classic green one that you could get in Super Mario Bros. 3, but it's still pretty awesome to have more options for stuff like that. I also really like that each amiibo mushroom has its own taunt of sorts that you can do by pressing up on the D-pad. Here we have some traps that are attached to rails. The traps can crush you and instantly kill you, so pay attention to make your move whenever the time is right. From here you'll want to make your way to the upper right. You'll find some POW blocks over here. Hit them to remove the chain chomps that are blocking your way through at the bottom, and then make your way down there and head past where they were at. Just past this pipe is a Starman. Grab it and then head through the pipe. Use the Starman to take out the Goombas that are in your way and then keep heading to the right. There's just one more house for us to go through. You'll have to enter it the same way as you entered the last two, through its chimney. Most of the stuff that's inside of this house can be avoided pretty easily if you keep on moving. You will want to watch out for a Magic Koopa that's flying around in a Lakitu's cloud near the upper right part of the area, though. The exit to this house is in the lower right corner. You'll have to hit a P-switch in order to reach the door, but that isn't a problem since the P-switch is right by it. Another thing that I like about the amiibo mushrooms is that each one has a different level complete theme, as well as a different sound for collecting it, and even a different song for whenever you die with it. Alright, time for the next level. The next level is a stage that was recreated from Mega Man 1. As the title of the stage said, we're going through Fireman stage. This level was created by Falcon X on GameFAQs, or Mega Paul X according to his nickname on his console. Mega Man is my #1 favorite video game franchise, so I especially look forward to going through recreated Mega Man stages here in the Mario Maker. I really like the use of the flamethrowers for replacing the pillars of fire that you could freeze with the Ice Slasher in Mega Man 1. I also like that there are coins set up in places where they could trick you into falling right into instant death traps. One thing that's obviously different is that there aren't any chain keys flying around. Instead, you had to use potaboos in their place. I also like that some potaboos were placed on rails in order to recreate the fire chutes from Fireman stage. That was a really nice touch in my opinion. Another nice touch was to use the spike tops to replace the gabyals and the bob-ombs to replace the killer bullets. This stage was recreated really well in my opinion. We're on the final stretch of the stage now. We got a set of enemies here that we can't destroy. Just try to get around them the best that you can. At the end of the stage is a giant Bowser waiting for us. As you can probably tell by the giant fireballs coming this way. The axe that's required in order to defeat him is located below where you encounter him at. So you're going to have to sneak around him and then hit the axe from below. Head down from here and Fireman stage will be completed. Time for the next level. Alright, this is going to be the final stage for this part. This stage is called Death Star Trench Run, and it was created by the Phoenix 9 on GameFAQs, or Damon according to his nickname on his console. I really like this stage, not just because it utilizes the Mario Kart amiibo mushroom, but also because it's a lot of fun to speedrun as well. This stage can get really hectic with all of the cannonballs and bullet bills being fired at you, but that's part of what makes it such an intense speedrunning stage. I also like that you drop a bob-omb down into a pit after you get the axe. That's pretty awesome. That is it for part 1.